Universal Studios theme parks have been the home to Harry Potter for 14 years, despite the fact that that property is actually controlled by Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers has come out of the woodwork to say they're starting their own theme park division. Let's talk about what that might mean here on That Park Place. We talked about this just a little bit on a live stream the other day, and I didn't realize what was going on. Warner Brothers Discovery is launching a new experiences division, including theme parks and studio tours. New division will be led by Simon Robinson, who is the COO of Warner Brothers Studios. This is a former Discovery guy. He came over with Zaslav to Warner Brothers, so that gives you any indication of how serious he is about doing business. Warner Brothers Discovery is making a big bet on live experiences like theme parks, studio tours, themed exhibitions, and retail, creating a new division meant to capitalize on that opportunity. The new division is called Warner Brothers Discovery Global Experiences and will encompass both owned and operated experiences like its studio tours or exhibitions, as well as licensed entertainment like its deals with Universal Destinations and Miral, which are the home of Harry Potter in theme parks. Simon Robinson, COO of WBD Studios, will lead the new division, reporting to Bruce Campbell.
Not the actor.
Well, that's disappointing. WBD's Chief Revenue and Strategy Officer, while continuing to report to CFR Gunnar. I love hearing David Zaslav talk about Gunnar Weidenfels on content operations. That is a big deal right there.
The problem is they have a lot of licensed IP to Universal, but that's a different conversation. So.
No, that's going to be a part of this conversation here. That's very important because a lot of Warner Brothers IP is with other companies right now.
Well, that's the thing. Six Flags just went through with their merger. I mean, are they looking to maybe buy them out of their contract? We know that they're kind of hard up for cash right now. That could be a way of maybe taking the assets there and maybe licensing them further with Universal or getting to the business of their own.
A lot of DC rides at Six Flags, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder how long that contract goes for. If we talk about the Marvel contract at Islands of Adventure, that is essentially in perpetuity as long as they keep investing in the rides, which there's like a monetary threshold that they have to put into the parks, and they're always going to hit that monetary threshold in the parks just by the nature of running Universal Studios Marvel Superhero Island. So right now, obviously, Harry Potter, probably the biggest theme park IP right now. In butterbeer sales alone is enough to pay for the parks and the building of those parks. And when we look at DC Studios, which has not yet produced its first film ever since they've been reorganized under their own division, we're hearing good things about Superman. I don't know, John, you may have different sources than me, but I'm hearing good things about James Gunn's Superman film.
I heard something very bad, but keep going.
Oh, no. Anyhow, they are trying to relaunch this IP. Meanwhile, it's tied up over at Six Flags, but Warner Brothers has other properties. So anyways, continuing on, Peter Van Roden will be Executive VP of Global Themed Entertainment, leading the licensed operations like Harry Potter, while Sarah Roots will oversee owned operations like the studio tours in the UK and Hollywood, as well as retail. WBD has an incredible mix of location-based experiences for fans around the world, from theme parks and tours to exhibits, retail, and more, said Campbell in a statement. Bringing these two teams together under one roof gives us an opportunity to leverage and coordinate talent and resources across all our experience, blah, 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 boilerplate. Weidenfels actually teed up the news Wednesday at a Bank of America conference, while he said that Experiences Group is about $500 million revenue business. That's not nearly as much to them as I would have thought.
Well, it's because they don't really operate big locations, right? They're talking about studio tours and things like that. They're not talking about like giant theme parks. I mean, they don't have everything that goes along with that, from concessions to merchandise. So, and one of the biggest problems here is that Simon Robinson is not a creative. In fact, the three people that are going to be in charge of everything that you just said are not creatives. Simon Robinson's a finance guy.
They talk about leverage, though, culture. I'm thinking this is definitely going to be like, hey, we're going to put the screws to Six Flags, maybe even Universal as well, in order to get more royalties for our licensed content that we have with those platforms. I can definitely see them, maybe taking out, like I said before, taking out the Six Flags licensed characters like Looney Tunes and so forth, bringing it over to Universal, getting a bigger check on the back end. We know Universal is very aggressive about expansion, and I mean, this would be great to have within their portfolio of theme parks more rights to DC, Looney Tunes, and Warner Brothers characters.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, which there's been rumors that Lord of the Rings is one of the lands at Great Britain, UK. So far, they haven't said what's going in over there, but the rumors were James Bond, Paddington Bear, and Lord of the Rings. If they decide not to do Lord of the Rings over there because of this, then that's huge. DC, obviously, and within that, Batman, Superman, Mortal Kombat, Looney Tunes, obviously most of Middle Earth, the MonsterVerse franchises. I think they would probably have to deal with Toei, or is it Toho? It's Toho, isn't it? I always get those two mixed up.
Toho, yeah.
Yeah. Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo. There are opportunities here.
They I mean, obviously DC you mentioned, but they have the Hanna-Barbera stuff. Anything that came out of Turner Entertainment, the
Cartoon Network.
Yeah, Terminator. Universal, I don't think has Terminator anywhere anymore. So that would be an easy grab.
They removed the Terminator 3D ride that was there.
Yes, they did.
Entrance.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that got replaced with Shrek, and then now it is
Despicable Me.
Minions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they actually have Beetlejuice. So I mean, could you imagine doing like a Beetlejuice area? I mean, there's a chance.
You got to look at also too the SEC filings and I think the earnings calls that Zaslav has hosted in the past, and what top tier franchises that they look at and what they value the most. I would think that those are going to be among the top of the list right there. I think we've heard Game of Thrones. I think we've seen Matrix as well featured in those calls. Mad Max maybe, and all of those could lend themselves beautifully to theme park product.
Couldn't they go back after Battlestar Galactica? I mean, they keep trying to reboot that again. And I think one of the coolest things I ever saw when I was a kid was during the tram tour. Right. I guess they have that was amazing at Universal. They could do something like that, because Universal did that pretty well. It was wild to actually see blasters firing. It was pretty crazy.
I'm also going to point out HBO currently owns Sesame Workshop, which obviously there's Sesame Place, and there are theme parks out there that have the rights. I think Busch Gardens actually has the rights to Sesame Place right now. Also pointing out that Bluey has appeared at those parks. But Bluey doesn't enter into this conversation, but Game of Thrones, any of those HBO brands, if they wanted to bring those into a theme park, I think that this is opening up an entire segment that has so far not been served in the theme park market. I don't think that Warner Brothers is in the position where they're going to be buying other theme park companies in order to do this, or maybe this is more licensing work where they're going to actively be managing those licenses in a different way here. But I think that this is going to have ramifications over the next decade and beyond. It's growing very dynamically, and it is an area where we have made very significant investments, Weidenfeld said. I love that business because it's got among the greatest returns in the entire portfolio, and it's a gift that keeps on giving in the most positive way. So we are looking at a pipeline. We've operated the Making of Harry Potter tour in Leavesden for more than a decade already. We opened Tokyo last year, which is going very well and has significantly contributed to growth and revenue and profitability for that unit. We're looking at other opportunities. And it's very clear that this is an area where I would like to take a little bit more risk, funding some investments, and have a lot of confidence in our ability to get great returns, because the team really knows what they're doing. We've got a mold there that works very well. I debated several nights ago whether or not we wanted to cover the entire Back to Hogwarts special. We ended up only covering the Harry Potter Battle for the Ministry ride segment of that, but they are doing global events for Harry Potter. And if they're region locked, because they've obviously said there's another company called Miral that does Harry Potter land somewhere else. If they are not region locked on the Harry Potter stuff, this opens up a lot of revenue opportunities for them.
Are they actually getting revenue from Universal's Harry Potter stuff, or is that a separate deal that JK cut with Universal?
That is a deal.
Talking about something else here completely with Harry Potter rather than anything with
Warner Brothers. In order to use the movie stuff for Harry Potter, they have to be involved. That's
yeah.
But J.K. Rowling has approval on anything that happens underneath that IP.
It's kind of a three-headed snake that kind of leads those efforts for Universal's Harry Potter product and culture, if I'm not mistaken. So a couple of things. One, Bob Weiss at one point had kind of a division within WDI at one point where they were talking about like pop-up experiences all across the nation and stuff. Yeah, I mean that's something that you could see right there. Also, too, there was also a big push from a lot of these studios at a certain point in time. This was I think before the pandemic, where Paramount and I think Warner Brothers as well were looking into investing into theme parks, developing them in either China or the Middle East. So, maybe, you could get a reexamination of those ideas as well.
Well, yeah, just so everybody understands here, there is a Warner Brothers world that is currently under construction out there in Abu Dhabi. And I know that there's a large part of our audience that if it's Middle East, they don't care. And that's fine, because who's going to go there if you're America based? But a lot of these designs can be used by American theme parks if allowed to. Culture, do you have something you want to throw in there?
I would go to Abu Dhabi. Probably will at some point.
You want to pay for my ticket to Abu Dhabi so we can all sweat over there in that Harry Potter land?
Dude, I live in the desert Southwest. I sweat all the time. It's not new.
A different heat, though, Culture. It's like 150 degrees over there.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I want to see Falcon's Fury, though.
Actually, I want to point this out. I'm going to put another part of this here. This is the Warner Brothers theme park out here. Obviously, you see Flintstones. This is a lot more built up than the Six Flags stuff. So
this is the one in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Is this the one? Did we reference this Ferrari roller coaster in our Top Thrill 2 video?
Yep, that is the successor to Top Thrill Dragster, or now Top Thrill 2, and previously King to Cobb. That was the one. I did not know it was attached to this park specifically. I must have missed that.
Yeah, this is just to give people an example of what could go in over here. Warner Brothers Plaza, Bedrock, Dynamite Gulch, Cartoon Junction, Gotham City, Metropolis. This is an entire theme park here. Teen Titans Training Academy, Jetsons, Marvin the Martian has a ride.
Is there something with, was that Fast and, what did that say? Fast and something?
Fast and Furious.
Furious. Okay.
Classic Looney Tunes pun right there. Tom and Jerry, Daffy Duck. I don't know what the Scarecrow Scare Raid is, but my goodness, how many attractions does this have? 3 clicks ago, we were way past what they have at Hollywood Studios. I'm not comparing it to Hollywood Studios here, but Hollywood Studios has less than 12 attractions.
The Studios park has always been a disaster, and then they just compounded it, and they locked themselves in, and they didn't give them a lot of routes for expansion. And whereas this is just like enormous, and it still has places to go with their park. I can't even imagine this.
Let me see, because this, I want to make sure I get the name of this ride. Formula Rossa is the Ferrari World. That's it, Ferrari World. It's not at this one, but it may be an associated company here. I don't think that was the Ferrari logo. That I'm not a car guy, so I'm going to stop talking now, but this looks like an amazing Warner Brothers theme park here. Also, it's called Yas Theme Parks, which I'm sure there's some people out there in California who would find that name very amusing. So,
is that the company that like builds them?
It's the name of the company. I'm going to look that up here.
All of their investments have usually always been in association with another partner in order to leverage their brand, their IPs, and so forth. I foresee that continuing, definitely in the States anyway. Only because we haven't really seen a theme park boom since the 1970s here in North America, and I don't really anticipate that changing even with Warner Brothers' involvement. But I do see they talk about leverage in that press release right there, and I think that's absolutely the case when it comes to the leveraging of their IP and their brand. So they want to see this kind of fleshed out here. They understand that this is a growth driver, a growth segment for their business. Zaslav is, I'm sure hard up for cash and looking to pay down that debt. It's a great way to do so.
Yep, I totally agree. Just for a little bit of clarity here, this is Yas Island, which is in Abu Dhabi. It is famous for the Formula One Abu Dhabi Grand Prix since 2009. It's also the home to Ferrari World, so it sounds like probably owned by the same company. So Formula Rossa is out there in the same complex, as well as Yas Water World, Warner Brothers World Abu Dhabi, SeaWorld Abu Dhabi, and Climb, spelled with a Y, Abu Dhabi, has the largest indoor climbing wall. Not to mention Yas Marina, Yas Beach, Yas Links. Oh my! And there's a
family
UFC
name
championship out there. I don't know. It looks to be just an island out there. But if it's named for the family, then that would make sense. It seems like I got a little bit more research to do here, but I don't know. It might be named for the Yas Queen. Moving on.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.